When I was trying to break into cybersecurity, I did not have a roadmap. Every guide I came across just seemed to say, take the Security Plus certification, which ended up not being that helpful for me. So here's the one I wish existed in 2026 for someone genuinely trying to figure out what becoming a cybersecurity specialist actually looks like. Hi, I'm Jasmine, a cybersecurity engineer. I've been in the industry for over 5 years now, came in through software engineering, got my master's at NYU, and had to figure out a lot of this through trial and error. So this is just a roadmap I wish someone had given me back then. So let me clear something up because I've seen this confuse a lot of people, including me when I was first starting out. What does a cybersecurity specialist actually mean? The word is pretty vague in itself until you pick a path. And if you look at how roles are being structured right now, the job market in 2026 isn't really looking for generalists anymore. And what I've come to notice is that a lot of people come in assuming cybersecurity is mostly about hacking, based on what you see online and in movies. But in practice, around 80% of jobs are actually defensive. And most of this field is about protecting companies, not breaking into them. The main specialist tracks are SOC analyst, AppSec and product security, identity and access management, cloud security, digital forensics and incident response, penetration testing, governance, risk and response, and AI security. We'll go through each, but first, the foundation. Before you pick a specialization, there are 4 foundational areas where you need at least a basic understanding. You don't have to master these, but at least just enough to understand what's going on around you. First is AI fluency. In 2026, AI is obviously part of the attack surface. It's part of the tooling, and in a majority of cases is part of the decision making in security. This was something I didn't fully appreciate until I saw it show up at my work. So what tends to help is getting comfortable using AI tools and start to think about where they appear in a security context. Second is risk management and frameworks. These are things like NIST and ISO frameworks, and the reason why this matters is that it gives you a mental model for how security decisions are actually made inside companies. And in my experience, knowing the threats and risks isn't just enough. You also have to understand how to communicate them to people who are not technical. Third is networking and cloud basics. You have to understand how data moves, IP addresses, DNS, HTTPS, what a firewall is doing, and increasingly cloud because most companies are now on AWS, Azure, or GCP. And fourth, how web applications work. What's a request? What's an API? What's a database doing in the background? A lot of the vulnerabilities in this field become a lot clearer once you understand how these systems are actually put together. 2 more practical skills that I think really separate a 2026 roadmap from older ones are virtualization and going deeper on AI fluency. Virtualization means running virtual machines and simulated environments where you can break things and learn without touching real systems. VMware is now free, and in my experience, employers aren't just looking for awareness here, they expect you to actually understand how virtualization works, and ideally that you've had hands-on experience with it. So what tends to help is building even a basic home lab to get familiar with best practices. And going deeper on AI fluency actually means using these tools in your workflows for research, for reports, for anything that you need at work. The security practitioners who stand out are the ones who are treating AI as a multiplier and not just more of a conversational search engine. Now here's where the roadmap actually splits, and a lot of people spend time in the wrong path without even realizing it. An SOC analyst and threat detection analyst are probably the most accessible entry points. I am not saying they're easy, just the most accessible. And you would be doing monitoring alerts, investigating incidents, responding to threats, and doing continuous monitoring and detection during and after processes. The people who thrive here are the ones who like patterns and investigations. Application and product security, which is my lane, is where you work with engineering teams to build security into products before, during, and after they ship. It's technical and you need to understand code well under the hood, but a lot of the work is actually about communication. If you have a software engineering background, this lane tends to feel a lot like a natural fit. IAM, or Identity and Access Management, is one of the most underrated specializations. Every company depends on identity, and identity is the core of all security. This role can be heavy on governance and policy, but can also be very technical. DFIR, or digital forensics and incident response, is a bit like a detective role in security. It pays well and is growing very fast, and the people who genuinely do well in this understand how attackers think, are very analytical, have technical expertise in operating systems, file systems, and networking. Penetration testing and red teaming are two roles I see most people say they want to get into. They are similar but different. Penetration testing is focused on identifying vulnerabilities within a defined scope, while red teaming is more comprehensive and is focused on how people, processes, and resources hold up against an adversary. They are very valuable skills, but also a much smaller slice of the security market and harder to break into without a solid foundation and technical foundation first. GRC, or governance, risk, and compliance, is needed in pretty much every industry. You're dealing with policies and audits and legal, everything like that. But it gets a lot more cutthroat in heavily regulated industries like finance and healthcare. And AI security, which is the newest lane and quite frankly exists across all roles in cybersecurity, is the one I find most interesting right now. You would be dealing with things like prompt injection, data poisoning, model risks. It's frontier work and it's only going to grow. Getting experience is where people struggle the most. You need experience to get a job, but you also need a job to get experience. During my internships, I felt like everyone around me had a clearer path. But what actually mattered for me was showing up and being curious and willing to do the work. There are platforms like TryHackMe, Portswigger's Web Security Academy, and Hack the Box are some of the most useful starting points for getting hands-on experience, but also technical. And the reason they work is you're not just watching, you're also doing the labs. Ideally, you want an internship in cybersecurity or at a cybersecurity company, but if that's not possible, look for a role where you can actually think about and implement security. And that falls into a lot of different roles. I went in as a software engineering intern and asked to work with the cyber team. That ended up being my first real exposure to the field. But I also know lawyers and product managers and designers and all of that. If you can, I also highly suggest contributing to open source packages. These are verifiable, someone can look them up. CTF competitions also show employers that you're engaged and willing to participate and you're really passionate about this, and not just consuming content in security. Volunteering at security events and conferences also counts, so put these on your resume. And in 2026 specifically, build something with AI and talk about it. Everyone has access to AI, and there's no reason why you shouldn't be building with AI and talking about it. Beyond credentials like a master's or certifications, what interviewers actually evaluate comes down to just a few things. On the technical side, what tends to matter is understanding the tools and processes used in your path or lane and thinking through problems systematically. Learning how to read and write code is obviously very helpful for certain roles, but not required for all. The soft skills are probably where people are going to struggle with the most. Communication specifically. Can you explain a security risk to someone who isn't technical? It's not just about knowing the threat, it's also about understanding why it matters to the business. And adaptability matters the most right now. The field is changing very fast, and with AI changing the threat landscape faster than most teams can keep up with, the people who are going to do well are going to stay curious and stay engaged with the community. Also, be very intentional about your online presence. Hiring managers will look at your LinkedIn and GitHub, so document your learning publicly. It's not just about building an audience, it's also about showing that you take this seriously. Do I need a degree, a certification, a master's? A cybersecurity degree is not required, but in my experience, it may function as a signal. So for example, I got my master's through NYU, which gave me a 75% tuition scholarship. And what I got out of it was mostly access and credibility, not necessarily the skills that I use day to day. But I know plenty of folks who do not have degrees in cybersecurity in the industry. And on certifications, I found that they can be useful, but in most cases, they're not the deciding factor. If you're just memorizing to pass an exam without being able to apply it, then that's going to show up in an interview. In my experience, projects and demonstrated skills tend to carry more weight. The caveat here though is if you are going for a consulting or government role, certifications are more often required than not in those spaces. So my path went in from wanting to become a pediatric cardiologist to becoming a software engineer to getting into cybersecurity. And none of this was planned. And what I've realized looking back is that all of it built on itself in ways I didn't even see at the time. The thing that actually got me here was not a perfect roadmap. It was staying curious, being willing to pivot, and not waiting until I felt completely ready. So cybersecurity is not going away. AI is not replacing it. AI rather is expanding the threat surface, and the people who understand both the technical and human dimensions of security are becoming more valuable, not less. So pick your path, build your foundation, and get hands-on. Show your work and don't wait until you feel ready, because in my experience, nobody in this field ever does, or ever in anywhere. And that's not a sign you're behind, it's just what it feels like to be in a field that keeps moving. So if you found this helpful, subscribe. I post a lot more about AI security and cybersecurity and what I'm learning along the way, and let me know in the comments which specialization you're trying to go after. I read all of them.